If you have been wondering why there has been a German review about the OnePlus 5 on our channel but not an English one, the reason for that is we haven't been very satisfied with this phone at all for quite some reasons. Anyhow, we kept using the 8GB RAM model for 2 months and meanwhile there have been lots of updates. But did they make the OnePlus 5 awesome? Time for the full review to check out exactly that. So the OnePlus 5 comes in an elegant white and red box that isn't much of a change compared to the OnePlus 3. Right on top is a red box with a plastic bumper on top that holds the actual phone in place. The included accessories are a SIM needle, a quick start guide, the usual letter to OnePlus fans from the overly proud co-founder Carl Pei, and of course the dash charger and the red USB Type-C cable. Regarding design, OnePlus split its fan base in half. Some say that thing is a blatant copy of the iPhone 7 Plus, others say this isn't the case at all. Well, the truth is somewhere in between. Without a doubt, both phones look quite similar and so do a lot of other devices lately. But having a closer look at the phone, you will see that the phone actually is quite a bit different from an iPhone 7 Plus. Not only is it so much slimmer, lighter and thinner, it also boasts a totally different frame design that actually does look and feel awesome. Another thing to mention is that ergonomics are by far better than on the iPhone. The buttons just sit on the very right place, where your fingers will rest naturally when holding the phone, and they have just enough resistance to prevent them from being pressed accidentally. The screen, like on the OnePlus 3, is a 5.5-inch Full HD optic AMOLED panel, and it indeed is the very same panel that has been used in last year's flagship. That means that nothing has changed about our opinion on this panel. We still consider this to be one of the best AMOLED screens around and just love using it on a daily basis. The brightness can get really high, which makes it very readable outdoors. The front panel is Gorilla Glass 5 and it's impressive how tough that glass is. After 2 months of non-protected day-to-day use, there still are no signs of damage, which is great to see and is something the OnePlus 3T or OnePlus 3 didn't manage to do. The glass also is audiophobic, so smudges always are easy to remove and gliding properties are great. The Snapdragon 835 is a performance monster and makes the OnePlus 5 a very well-performing phone. Some of the initial performance hiccups meanwhile have been resolved thanks to regular updates. Boasting a whopping 8GB of LPDDR4X RAM, the OnePlus 5 just eats everything you throw at it. You really can open all apps on your phone in the morning, use it all day and they will still be ready to use in the evening. Everything is just really fluid and snappy, making using the OnePlus 5 on a daily basis a breeze. And what's actually really impressive is that the phone doesn't get very hot during intense use or even gaming. You would think that due to the thin body you feel the heat more intense, but that is really not the case. Gaming, by the way, is a breeze as well. The OnePlus 5 just handles everything so smooth. But admittedly, that's the case with the other Snapdragon 835 phones too, so nothing outstanding here. Anyhow, gamers for sure will love the OnePlus 5, and what's great is the fact that thanks to the huge RAM you can easily run multiple games at a time and switch between them. The fact that the OnePlus 5 also packs 128GB of memory in the top-end model means that you actually will be able to install enough applications to make use of the RAM, and yep, it's fast UFS 2.1 memory with great data rates. Sensor-wise, there is nothing missing on the OnePlus 5. The front-facing fingerprint scanner works very well, having near to no hiccups and being very speedy. If there is one flaw about the specs, it's the Type-C port. No, there still is no USB 3.0 on this one. Moving over to software, the OnePlus 5, as all OnePlus phones do, runs their very own flavor of Android, which is called OxygenOS. So what you actually get there is a beefed up stock Android experience, so the OnePlus 5 still is a good pick for those into stock Android. The UI modifications are just slightly, so you kind of end up having a beefed up stock Android experience with enhanced functionality and more configuration options. And with the most recent updates, OnePlus further enhanced both efficiency and performance of the OS a lot, making using the OnePlus 5 a very comfortable experience comparable to an iPhone. Now, when it comes to reception quality, not even there is a catch. The OnePlus 5 performs top-notch in mobile networks, Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, NFC and even GPS. Initially, there have been some Wi-Fi hiccups, but those are totally gone now, and yes, you can even get the Band 20 LTE support on this one, which is important in some European countries. Something that sucks a bit on the OnePlus 5 is the internal speaker. There only is a mono speaker and no stereo speakers, which is a shame for a flagship of this price category, but at least it sounds fairly decent. A pro on the other hand is that there still is a headphone jack and this one sounds great. What's just average is telephony quality, considering that they have some special noise cancelling in place that is based on free microphones. The fact that it doesn't perform better than a good mid-range phone is kind of hilarious. And now let's talk about the all-important camera department. And to tell you that right in the beginning, this really is the weakest point about the OnePlus 5. Nope, the camera isn't bad. In fact, it's far away from being bad, but it's not that huge improvement they claim and actually use for justifying the huge spike in pricing. In a lot of ways, the camera actually is behind the one found in the OnePlus 3. That already starts when we talk about the detail. No matter if you use no zoom or the 2x optical zoom, which in reality is only 1.7 times zoom, you will notice that the detail isn't necessarily bad, but pictures definitely don't come out as crisp and detailed as they used to on the OnePlus 3 when viewing them zoomed in or on a large screen. Colors are a bit off sometimes as well, and that especially applies to blue and green tones, which tend to be oversaturated. That doesn't necessarily look bad, but it can be annoying if you want to get pictures as close to reality as possible. When it comes to video recordings in 4K, the OnePlus 5 initially didn't offer any image stabilization, a shame for a flagship phone. Anyhow, this feature was implemented just recently with a big update, and now the camera uses EIS to ensure steady 4K footage. And yep, it does work quite well, but again, its picture quality, the OnePlus 5 is behind competitors. As with pictures, footage doesn't look as crisp and sharp as you would expect, and when actually using the optical zoom in videos, quality starts to look horrible. Details get really mushy, and the secondary camera also seems to generate quite some noise. What the OnePlus 5 shines with is the low light performance. Thanks to the huge aperture, it catches lots of light when using manual mode, and a tripod you can shoot stunning pictures at night. But don't expect too much in automatic mode. Point and shoot results at night aren't consistently great. When doing close-ups at night, the LED flash is a big help and creates decent results. It also handles larger rooms quite well, but you lose a lot of detail then. One of the highlights of the OnePlus 5 is that you also get a 16 megapixel front-facing selfie shooter, and this one actually performs great both at daylight and low light. Also, the field of view is quite large, often leaving you without the need of a selfie stick. But videos can only be recorded in Full HD, but EIS support compensates for that. Another highlight, of course, is that you can use the dual camera to generate a synthetic bokeh effect. But again, this feature is just half-baked. Yes, you can get really decent results, but they are by far not consistent. Sometimes the bokeh effect looks very artificial, other times it's screwed up because of complicated borders of foreground objects, and it's also quite hard to get the bokeh effect activated since an algorithm disables it when it thinks that the result won't look decent. All in all, the OnePlus 5's bokeh mode performs okay, but it can't keep up with some of the big players in the dual camera game. Making a long story short, the cameras on the OnePlus 5 are by far not bad, but they don't live up to the expectations that OnePlus 5 themselves created by justifying the huge price spike with the camera among some other reasons. Telling that camera-wise this is their best phone ever is just not true, or at least not in all cases. If you aren't into low-light photography with manual settings and also not into that dual camera stuff, the OnePlus 3 actually packs the better camera for you. It just gets you more detailed and crisp-looking images. Something OnePlus greatly improved compared to the predecessor is battery life. Yep, initially this wasn't the case, but the most recent updates really caused a big jump in battery life. We now reach a screen-on time of around 8 hours on average, and that's a very decent result that even power users will make it through a day with. No changes have been made to on-dash charge, however. It's still the same technology as used on the OP3/OP3T, leaving you with a charging time of roughly 1 hour and 20 minutes. Verdict: while using the OnePlus 5 for over 2 months now, a lot of things have changed to the positive. Issues were resolved and the phone really got more mature than it initially was. But still, it isn't enough to change our initial verdict. We still believe that the OnePlus 5 is way overpriced. If they would have sold it at the same pricing as the OnePlus 3, it would have been a great deal, but they don't. Here in Germany, the OnePlus 5 with 128GB costs a whopping 549 euros, which currently translates in about $660 US. The OnePlus 3T with 128GB was priced about for 20 euros. Now that's a huge difference, but you don't get that much benefits from it. Yes, the OnePlus 5 is fast, but the OnePlus 3T is as well. The OnePlus 5 has a great display, but the OnePlus 3T has two, and it's the very same screen actually. The OnePlus 5 is slim, but well, the OnePlus 3T is 2 and just slightly thicker. And camera-wise, we already told you that the OnePlus 5 delivers less detailed shots. What we really miss on the OnePlus 5 are some flagship-grade highlights that make users say, wow, this is a bargain. What about IP certification, a bezel-less screen, USB 3.0 support? Hell, what about real instead of fake 2x optical zoom or maybe even 3x optical zoom to kick Xiaomi's ass? Or what about a new fast charging technology that's even faster than the current dash charge? And this phone doesn't even have OIS, which the much cheaper Xiaomi Mi 6 boasts, for example. So what does all that mean? If you really want to get a OnePlus 5, get it from China. Yes, you might not have warranty then, but the phone is just so much cheaper over there. But if you already own a OnePlus 3T, there is no reason to switch. Wait for the next OnePlus phone. And if you are just after the dual camera, get a Xiaomi Mi 6 or some Huawei flagship phone, which perform way better in that category. And that's all for this video. A shop link and more information is located down in the video description. I was Christopher for CMM. Thanks for watching and see you in the next one.